Hello there! So I've got one question with 5 meters faction Nilfgaard. Nope, I'm not interested. Reward book. So let's go where do I have my decks. Deck builder. What do I have now? How should I move over there? Only out cards. Boost the unit by 4 and give it immune damage. A unit by 1, call down 2. A card from a battlefield to your hand, then play a card. Choose an ally band 1 and give it 0. So I've got a few cards. And a starter decks. So let's see what do we have over here. Now it's not even full. Only I would like to see only standard cards because I would only find this use. So let's end our decks. So this is so each card have some thing like a points. I know. I see that. But I would like to see it in much more visible condition. So let's go back. Let's remove all the cards because I want to create decks on my own. Every deck I would like to create on my own. And that's the way. So I removed everything. And I've got a lot of this, but first I would like to open my cakes. Yep, let's open the cakes. Well, I'm not going to pay for this. And I'm even not going to pay for this. I'm not going to pay card cake. Yep, I'm going lows. So I've got 5 cakes. And how can I open my cakes? Hey, excuse me, game. How? Yeah, spend 100 ore. So let's go back and how in the hell I am opening cakes. Open goodies, yeah. Some premium cards. And a defeated. Send power of non-boosted enemy to 1. Vincent May. Gain 1 charge whenever you play a special card. Maybe let's choose this. Open next keg. Now Zika Surge and the Lyrian Skitchman. Pantir Beast. Bard are the tutor.
Putty Gwenty card.
Destroy the highest unit. Of course I want this because I think that it's totally necessary. Open next cake.
Crack! Smash!
Rogue Barrage. In a row by 2, and what do we have here?
Putty Gwenty card.
Dragon's Dream. Let's open next keg. And finally some monsters. And what would we have here?
Putty card.
Consume an allied unit, Barry Begazi, because I want to play monsters this time. Open next keg. Ooh, a golden card, but with no ability.
Putty Gwenty card.
Play the highest unit from your deck. Human made the damage when enemy by the about death mold is boosted. I would like to play Northern Realms and monsters this time. Let's go back and let's exit this. So it's time to go to my deck builder, and I think what is the most important? First of all, I would like to see standard cards, because making cards that can actually move would be a useless thing. First of all, I would like to see some neutral cards. Peasant militia, what a useless thing. So I don't know which of these cards plays well. So let's look from a top. So first we give Doom. When we deploy them, and later we can destroy a doomed enemy. Interesting. Boost 5 units by 3. I think that is totally necessary to play the game in a useful way, so let's take this. Let's craft. It's very cheap. I think that it's totally necessary. On round start, the Phoenix is in your graveyard. Banish it. When spawn Phoenix, actually summon it. A random allied row. So this is the unit that will be coming back. I will consider it later. How much will it cost me? Ah, so it can transform into Phoenix. So it's a unit that we can always play. Phoenix. It's look like a Cintrian bird, but I need to think about it. Dandelion Poet. Draw a card. Draw a card, then play a card. So that allows us to draw additional cards. Dandelion. I think that is very useful. To draw additional cards. Play a unit from your graveyard. To use something twice in certain decks might be very useful. Well, I have taken a Scourge. Why don't I don't have it. Ah, because I've got premium one. I know. Now I know. But I'm not going to use premium cards. This might be extremely deadly when deployed at the beginning and then doing distraction over and over again until you lock it. Let's go. Play a unit from a graveyard. I think that's universal and very very useful. So let's craft it. From the first look, this playing a unit from a graveyard, if you play on second round or third round, and you want for your enemy to just remove cards from his deck, the first round, that might be useful. Now it's Ragnarok is much weaker. Because it looks like a normal weather. But it's a spell, it's not a weather. I wonder if it can be cleared with a clear sky. Banish a unit or artifact. So it makes something banish from the 8. It's a hard removal, so yeah. I want it. If your starting deck has no duplicates, I with with a specific card it requires very diversified deck. So I don't think that it's quite useful. I don't think that a very diversified deck is is useful. I don't think so. Phoenix. It would work perfectly. And I like this card. I like the look of it. I want it. Maybe it's stupid, but I want it. It's so beautiful image. And all the ability can be used. So this damages units, the enemy units 5 times. So this is for distraction, certain plays. For example, from the decks that gains points, but I'm now going to build some cards that might see that I might think that are quite universal. So let me think. I don't know completely how it works. I've read the description. Its starting deck has no duplicate. So it requires a certain type of deck. Might be interesting, but I don't think so that I will take it. I think that might be useful for a deck based on distraction. So let's craft it. Play a unit from your deck. Any type of unit, but I prefer. So it might be useful when I just need to trigger some units to make my deck works properly. So it might be useful in that case. So I think I will also create this. And I'm going to concentrate very highly on this type of cards. Why? Why I'm going to concentrate so highly on this type of cards? Because they are universal. I can always use them. Locking. When the enemy have irritating card, a very irritating card, it's a quite useful thing to deploy and use. So let's also craft it. And this looks insane. Because it's constant damage. Order. Damage enemy by 1, cooldown 1. So you do damage over and over again. So for me, it's very useful. I've got one card removal. This, which benefit unit. Yeah, it can be destroy a doomed enemy. It can be used later, but enemy will see which enemy is the doomed and will not boost it. So, in my opinion, it's for now quite illogical to use it. Five times 1 damage. It might be a good smaller removal. For nasty cards from enemy deck. So it 5 times can trigger 1 point. So let's imagine that the enemy have 2 irritating cards of strength 2. It's perfect to deal with that. Play an artifact from your graveyard. This is an artifact, probably. Yeah, because it has that icon. So. It can summon this from graveyard, and if I understand this properly, these 2 cards can create a extremely useful combo. Because this is an artifact, and this is caretaker. So if I have this, I should also have this, if I understand this game properly after the changes. It's also a hard removal. But now we remember do the agitator, do the companion. It could be useful in Northern Realms. This Geralt, for me, it's extremely useful in certain situations when you are playing a long round and you need to remove something. And we need to remember that these destroy the highest unit, and these destroy highest units, but only on enemy road. So it was if we have Phoenix, so why do CD Projekt Red have so similar cards, but now concentrate. Let's concentrate on my neutrals. My glorious neutrals. I consider the Showtime this useless. I've got it. So this plays artifact from graveyard, this play artifact from decks. So if I understand things properly, these 3 cards can create an unimaginable combo. Based on total distraction. These 3 neutral cards. Because we can summon this by this card, then in the next turn summon this from graveyard. If I understand it properly. And if it works like that. So this is an unimaginable combo of pure magical destruction that pleases even the Tzinch himself. But first, let's create this. It could be good for Northern Realms. And the artifact. If we deploy this in ranged unit, play an artifact from your deck. I would like to check if a combo of these three cards works as I think. Contract completed on a mission. Umakars. Create and play a gold unit. This is very random. Very random because you create a random gold unit. I don't like decks that are too universal, and it's total randomness. It's random. It's so an RNG card that it's total randomness, and I would like to play specific themed deck, so I will leave it. And I will leave it intentionally, very intentionally, because now I can see clearly that is a total fucking randomness. So, no. Umakers. I will leave it. Boost a unit by 10. It has not a description of an artifact. But if I will be going to build a deck based on artifacts, I've got some cards. So let's. I think that in Northern Realms that will be extremely useful. And it's relatively cheap to create. Garrison. No ability. It's just quite strong. I think it's useless and I will get it at some point in time, so. It's a hard removal of the high unit. But I don't think that it's too specific. It's not so universal, and I'm looking for universal cards. In your hand by 4. That is nice if I don't want a certain kind to be destroyed. So I would like to create myself this. This works, this is very similar to this. And I prefer Phoenix than Siri, so Siri, you are nice, you are sweet little girl, but no. And Siri now goes to the corner and cries, why? Spawn 2 cows. Of both sides of this unit, so. But what is the cow ability? If it spawns 2 cows, transform into Chord. is good for a strong opening from a playing for the next round. So you deploy this, you wait till the coast will become charged, and you gain a lot of points. Order transform into Thor. So you have a point advantage. A hidden point advantage. So I think that this is quite useful. Geralt Irden, restore all units on the road to their base power. I don't think so much that it is useful. Why I don't think that it will be useful? Because if we have something highly boosted, then it's useless. Because it will restore all our boost to base power. And we'll cry. Because we can both gain points and lose points while using this card. If I understand its description properly. So, no, I don't think that it is useful. I don't think that this Irden is useful. So, it's mathematics, Geralt Professional. This is very specific card that requires counting, that requires intelligence, mathematical intelligence, and mathematical instinct from a player. A multiple from 3, so it can destroy a card with a strength of 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and 24, and I don't think that that any card will be stronger. So very useful and requires mathematical instinct from a player. So yeah, one. It can be used to summon a certain unit. If you want certain unit to be summoned, and we can exactly calculate which unit will be summoned because we just know it. It can be extremely useful. So let's also take it. I think that this is useless. Why? Why I think this is useless? Because opponent must have artifacts. And if opponent has no artifacts, then this card is a piece of crap, let's say. Damage 3 enemies by 2. It's universal and good in my opinion. Good removal, good card that makes damage to enemy. And Regis. I think that it's also useful. Because let's imagine that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 5 cards that have this power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will destroy all of them because it will repeat, 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 repeat. So it can deliver a really high damage to enemy if it's played right. Create any special card. It's very universal and, in my opinion, very useful. But Yennefer of Wengerberg, of course, it's very universal and, in my opinion, very useful. And I would also like to greet Yennefer, another YouTuber, glorious, beautiful YouTube Gwent player. So I greet you. Of course, I would like to create it, and I think that I would also create this. Because it's also very universal, and I think that it will be useful in many decks. Ron's special card from any player's current deck. I think it's also useful. Storm. It requires time and it's not so destructive, so no. I would like this because it's instant and very hard. This is much weaker, and this weakness makes it almost useless. Almost. If you want to summon something, Azure Double Cross would be extremely useful. If you want to summon a specific card, to the decks that are designed to do something, will be extremely useful. Manticore Venom damage 3 enemies by 3. So it's 9 points of damage. It's useful. It's useful. I think that it's quite useful. Manticore Venom. This one, I think that it's useless. Why? Why do I think that this is useless? Because the opponent can have different types of deck, and it's very random, extremely random, what we will summon into our deck. It can be used in a Spelltell, but I'm not going to use Spelltell. I have used already a Spelltell, so boost a unit by 3 and it has cooldown, so after 2 turns you play this, wait 2 turns, boost, wait 2 turn, boost, wait 2 turn, boost. Extremely useful. let's create this. Escal Pathfinder. Every turn on turn end boosts self by 1 when it's placed in melee row. In my opinion, quite useful because puts a time pressure on enemy. And deadly time pressure it can be useful to keep enemy in order. So I think that this is very useful. From your hand, operator. Can be very useful if you play on a specific type of deck. For me, a summon card would be useful, but for enemy, it will be useless. So, operator, of course. Dandelion, destroy an enemy beast. But enemy must play beast, so it's a card designed to counter a certain type of deck. So that's why I think that it's useless. Colossal Ifrit. I like cards that puts time pressure on enemy. That's why I think that might be useful. It has cooldown, but this Iris Companion. So it's useful for flipping. If you want to make flip, 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 like a fucking cinch, it will be useful. Flip, 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 flip. Stop flipping! Yeah. I wonder who got this. Who got this? What do I mean by that? Flip, flip. And maybe because of flip, because it reminded me this flip, 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 flip little kitten playing with a cinch episode. Let's craft this. Flip, flip, flip. It will be useful if we... It will be useful if I decided to make a deck based on Witchers, which I am not going to do, a Witcher deck. An enemy with 8 or more power, so it's even better than this. Comparable, but in my opinion, even better. The Rhine or boost from the enemy. It is useful, but only in certain cases when enemy have high boosts. And it has the low base strength. So I don't think that it will be useful. Transform into base copy of enemy unit. If we want to have a deck that counters enemy, Yes, but if not, it's useless. The last whiff. I think that it's always useful to have it. If we want to play the lowest unit from my deck, because it is very useful for us, this would be extremely useful. So this is a card designed for a Witcher deck, so I'm not interested. And this is also a quite hard spell for removing an irritating enemy unit. And I think that I like it. Maybe not too much, but I like it. We need to wait to make this useful. We need to wait for returns. Enemy knows that it is deployed. So he will not put the units to V0 because he will know that this is going to happen. So I don't think that is too much useful. This card can only heal himself to its base power. It does not return, so all great fun ever. Sorry, but I don't think that you are too much useful. I think that this is extremely useful because it can lock a unit. So it's like telling enemy, don't even think to use it. Extremely useful. Draw a card, Siri does. It can be very helpful in building us card advantage, so yes. Damage all enemies by 1. Yeah, I want it. It will be a good card to the end. Punish a unit with 3 power or less, useless. It can be very useful to 2 things, destroying artifacts and clearing effects. So I want you, Iris. I want you to join my side. Each player draws a unit and this sets its power to 1. Why should I even think of using it? No. it's also a Witcher card. A typical card for a Witcher deck. I don't think that it will be useful. I think that this can be quite useful for damaging enemies. I think that Roach Beast, it might be useful in building, but we can only summon it from our deck. So let's say I don't think so that it is quite useful. These two cards create a great combo. If you have two of them, they are extremely useful. So let's create two of them. I think that I will create two of them. Enraged Ifrit construct. I think that it's also useful. Trees Marigold. Reveal a random unit. Too random, because it can reveal a power of 1 and do nothing. So, I don't think that it is too useful. Can be used at the beginning. You have a lot of cards in your hand and the enemy deployed something high. So it might be a good to counter a tactics of a huge beginning. So this card might be useful to counter a strong beginning. It's too random. These two cards are too random for me to create. Because it can be very useful, but it can be also very shitty. So I don't want any of this in my deck. When we play for one row, this alchemy card might be extremely useful. So let's craft it. Wrecker Dark Mirror. So, if one of our units is heavily damaged, it's a very universal card in my opinion. Because it can reverse damage from our cards, and the damage card that is so much boosted by enemies. So very universal and very good, in my opinion. Reset a unit. Even power, odd power. reset a unit. I don't think that I need these two cards. Destroy the unit with the highest base power. It can be used against us, so no. Tainted Ale. Damage a unit by 2 and it has charge 3. Yeah, I think. But it might be quite useful. Tainted Ale. Movie Count Caldwell. Destroy an enemy artifact. It might be very useful in this specific task. Counter decks that are based on artifacts. So yes. This card might be useful to prolong a round, and what is even more important, they gain card advantage. So I'm going to take it. I'm totally going to take it. Immune cannot be targeted. So if you are playing on a certain type of unit, you need to have this to protect the key to your deck. So I think that I will create it because it's absolutely necessary to protect key units. And locking a unit is also very important in my opinion, because it's extremely important to lock some of enemy's abilities. I don't know if we have so much raw effect, so much raw effect, and how it combines with this. Ah, so it combines with weather. Cards. So if you play on a weather card, it might be useful. So if we want to play a weather card, it might combine with this and this. So let's craft it. It's only useful when enemy has resilience. And enemy might not have resilience too often. King of Beggars is very useful in boosting lowers unit in my hand. We deployed boost something, boost. So I think that I will craft it. If this is useful only when the enemy have a lot of copies of wild cards, so I will leave it. that combines nicely with dragons. And I've got some dragons, for example, this. So it can be a hard removal of something. Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god, no. But it's not such useful. I don't want a random number generator. So no. Why these two cards which are not so useful cost so much? CD Projekt Red, I want an answer. Why these cards are so expensive? They are not so useful in my opinion as I see. But they are extremely expensive. So let's craft this Binding Frost. Let's craft another one of these. I think that I should have two types of the two cards of each weather at the beginning. So two of this, two of this. Resilience. One of this. One of the card that gives resilience. Nurgle Rod, I want to spread it to everyone. Epidemic Repair, no person, no bother. Especially Nurgle Rod that will turn you into a mindless zombie. Yeah. One of this. Two of this. Because I think that there might be decks that require specific kind of weather. Into deck, baffled. But still I want one of it, at least. That might be useful to counter artifacts, but it destroys all of them. Might be useful, but not yet. Necromancy. Play a bronze unit from your graveyard. So it might be useful in combination with some units that give boost when return from graveyard. Let's create this. Lock a unit and restore it to base power. Yeah, locking is very important in my opinion. So I need the cards that have locking. What? I do not understand this soup. And it's very expensive. So we can play a unit from your So if we have a deck with low recruit cost unit, with a lot of low recruit cost units, we can summon them by this. So we can spawn a lot of units by using this card. Summoning Circle, so it might be very useful for a specific type of decks. For a deck based on Black Blood. Might be useful in clearing graveyard. And it might make a specific type of decks completely useless. There is also counter card. So if we want to clear a graveyard, I wonder if it will be useful. Maybe yes. It might be a great counter for certain decks. Of course, it's very useful. I would like to even craft 3 of this. No, let's have. I can only craft 2 of this. It's also quite useful, so let's take it. It combines perfectly with all spells. You play a spell and boost. You play a spell and boost. So it's perfect for Spelltell type of deck. I've said that I won't be playing Spelltell, but I might change my mind at some point of the future. Damage all enemies by 1. I think that I have a 2 of this. Sarah and Johnny. This card perfectly combines themselves when you play a Spelltell deck. Because one is boosting, one is damaging. Random god card from your deck. We cannot choose, and it also is spying, so it gives points to the enemy. Not yet. May combines perfectly with a weather. So let's make 2 of this. I think that it's quite useful to counter enemy artifacts effectively, but it's too expensive. if you play on one category unit, it might be very useful. Doppler. For example, if you are playing on only vampires, only witchers, only something, only specific type of monsters. So for specific decks, might be useful. One of this. Lock and damage it by 3. Let's also create one of this. Lock removing. Yes, of course. Restore unit to its base power. I want one of this. Can be quite useful because it has cooldown, so it can boost, and boost. Let's create one of this. So it can faster other cards' abilities, if I understand properly. It can damage enemy cards. Damage, and damage. Let's create two of them. Let's also create two of this. Two of this, two of this. Cloud, remove effect from an idle row. I think that it's very useful. I cannot craft more of this, fortunately. It can be also very useful to counter, but it's not so useful to spend that amount of crafts. Destroy the artifact, yes. It's relatively cheap and destroys the artifact. And I have seen another card that was destroying the artifact. It was much more expensive. Clear all row effects, of course, even two of them. Death with ability. Well, let's create one of them. It might be useful in the future. So here we go, the good universal neutral cards that can be used in any deck. I want to have as much of them as it is simply possible, so I've spent a lot of my scraps for this, but it will be beneficial. It will be beneficial, I hope, in the future. See you in the next episode when I will go to monsters, because I want to have a strong monster deck. That's what I want to create in the next episode. See you!